Good morning, everyone. So, we are going to the next session of our essay, Dream Children, a Reverie, written by Charles Lamb. We were talking of how this great grandmother used to be a very religious woman and how good a dancer she was, and how these children who are listening these stories are very interesting to listen this, and how they react to the story. So the narrator feels remembering everything that he witnessed, even though this grandmother lived alone in this great mansion which is owned by a rich person. But he remembers the days he used to spend on his vacation here. So he is going to another memory of great grandmother. This is: then I told how she was used to sleep by herself in a lone chamber of the great lone house, and how she believed that an apparition of two infants was to be seen at midnight gliding up and down the great staircase near where she slept, but she said those innocents would do her no harm. So, um, um, he says that she used to sleep, this great grandmother who lives in this great mansion used to sleep in a lone chamber of the lone house. So this is a lone house, and the grandmother is always alone, and she used to sleep in a lone chamber. There are very huge rooms there, comfortable rooms, but she used to uh, live as a caretaker. She knows that it is not her house, but she is there to look after the house. So she was a religious lady, and she has certain beliefs. And so one of such beliefs is this: she believed that an apparition of two infants, so apparition is ghost, so there existed no ghost in this house. Infants was to be seen at midnight gliding up and down the great staircase near where she slept. So there is a staircase near where she slept, and at midnight in horror movies we have seen always the background of horror movies, the settings of horror movies is always a lone house, and it has ghosts, and when it comes at the midnight, and that it is dark, it is there are no people around, so one lone person haunted by ghosts. So there are two ghosts of infants, so the children, they are children, there are ghosts but they are children's. And she has seen at midnight gliding up and down the great staircase near where she slept. So there is a staircase near where she slept, and she saw the children moving up and down this staircase. And but she said those innocents would do her no harm. So she was so sympathetic to the ghost. Even she didn't even try to go some places where they can remove this ghost, doing some you know exorcists we call them. So she didn't do anything, she accepted them in her life. So infants lived along with her. They were these infants, ghost infants. And how frightened I used to be. The narrator used to be very frightened, even though in those days I had my maid to sleep with me, because so in those days he was a very young boy. So a maid, a helping woman used to sleep with him, because he was so frightened to sleep alone, because I was never half so good or religious as she. So the reason again he is giving is that grandmother is so religious, and she has nothing to fear about the ghosts. even the ghost, whatever exists there, because she is religious. But this child, when he was a boy, was not that religious as her grandmother. And yet I never saw the infants, and he never saw, because it comes midnight, only great grandmother used to listen them. Here, John expanded all his eyebrows and tried to look courageous. So this little kid who is listening the story showed this expression of showing courageous. So, he is showing that I am courageous, even though you are not. You were not. As a boy, you were not courageous enough to face it, but I am courageous. If infants existed here, I can, I can love them like our great grandmother used to manage them. So then I told how good she was to all her grandchildren, having us to the great house in the holy days, where I, in particular, used to spend many hours by myself in gazing upon the old bust of the 12 Caesars. So this is a long sentence, so I'm breaking it up. And then these children, there were many young children, and grandmother used to call them to live in this great house. It's a huge, and it is a great experience for them to live in this great house. How good she was to all her grandchildren, having us to the great house in the holidays. So they come in the holidays, where I in particular used to spend many hours by myself. So how he used to spend his time, that is being described now. So gazing, I in particular used to spend many hours by myself in gazing upon the old bust of 12 Caesars. So there were these 12 Caesars, the statues of 12 Caesars. Busts are the half-sized statues. Only the face and the chest portion are visible. So such statues were there in the mansion, this huge house, and that they were of this 12 Caesars. 12 Caesars are the emperors of Rome. 12 emperors of Rome. So their statues were there, and this author, this narrator used to gaze upon these uh, um, statues till the old marble heads would seem to live again. So these busts were made of marbles, and he looked at it in such a manner, he started feeling that these are real. These busts are coming into life. They are living things. So old marble heads would seem to live again, or I to be turned into marble with them. So he thought that he would gaze at the 12 marble busts of Caesar in such an intensely meditative way, that it seemed to him after some time that those were coming back to life again, or that he would be himself transformed into marble with them. So how could I never could be tired with roaming about that huge mansion with its vast empty rooms? So he never felt tired of gazing, roaming around. He used to roam around a lot himself, with nobody beside him, but he never felt tired of roaming around this empty, vast, empty rooms. It's a huge mansion with their worn out hangings, and it has so many hangings, so many wall pictures. They're all worn out, damaged, and fluttering tapestry. Tapestry are these embroidery pieces. In all the palaces we can see tapestries, embroidery in a linen, very expensive cloth, and some artistic works are being done, and fluttering, it is moving here and there. So everything has coming to decay by the time, and carved oaken panels. So there were carved oaken panels. The oak is a tree, and some panels, some wooden things made out of this oak tree, with the gliding almost rubbed out. So this gliding is a sport in old days, and also നിങ്ങൾ ഇത് കണ്ട് സിനിമ കണ്ടി തോഴൻ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ സിനിമ കണ്ടിട്ടില്ലേ? അതിൽ ഈ ആൾക്ക് ചിരഞ്ജീവി കാല് വയ്യാതെയാവുന്നത് ഗ്ലൈഡ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് വീഴുമ്പോൾ. സോ ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് മെയ്ഡ് ഓഫ് such trees, oak panels. So it is all worn out, rubbed out. It is not in good shape now, but they are still there in its bad shape. Okay, so long ago somebody might have glided in this garden. It's a huge garden. It's a huge garden, big garden. Sometimes in the spacious, old-fashioned gardens. So this is a huge acres of garden. So rich families have these lawn mansions where they have private forests, they have private gardens. So it is such a mansion, huge one, which I had almost to myself, unless then now and then a solitary gardening man would cross me. So he, the narrator, will be the only boy roaming around in such a huge garden, huge mansion. Sometimes he may witness some solitary gardener doing something in garden. Unless otherwise, he is the only boy roaming around, wandering in this huge mansion. So he got this imagination inside this. He got enough time and space to be himself alone. And how the nectarines and peaches hung upon the walls without my ever offering to pluck them. So there were these nectarines. Nectarines are variety peach with more reddish in color. So such peaches. Peach is also a fruit, and students, children at his age normally would pluck it and eat it. നമ്മൾ മാങ്ങയൊക്കെ കാണുമ്പോൾ എന്തായാലും ഒന്ന് എറിഞ്ഞിട്ട് തിന്നുന്നൊരു സുഖം എത്ര കിട്ടാനുണ്ടെങ്കിലും we will do that. But he was not interested in my ever offering to pluck them. He never plucked those fruits because they were forbidden fruit unless now and then, and it was like a forbidden fruit. He considered, because he has in his mind that it is not their mansion, but he had no interest also to eat it. For it was like a forbidden fruit unless now and then, and because now and then he ate it sometimes, and because I had more pleasure in strolling about among the old melancholy looking yew trees. So he loved most this. He loved to roam around, wander. So strolling is roam around, walk very leisurely, like lonely, thinking about among the old melancholy looking yew trees. Yew trees are beautiful trees, in a particular shape, very huge trees. I'll send you the pictures of these trees. Or firs, again a huge tree, and picking up the red berries. There are these red berries, so he may pluck some of red berries and eat it. And fir apples, they were these small apples which were good for nothing but to look at, or in lying about upon the fresh grass with all the fine garden smells around me. So he never found interest in eating the apples or plucking it or destroying the leaves, but to roam around and think about it and enjoy the aroma of the garden, the trees. And he is telling these red berries and fair apples are not touched by anybody. nobody is interested in these fruits because peaches comparatively a very good fruit, tasty fruit, delicious. But he found it very interesting. He was so happy to roam around or in lying about upon the fresh grass. He used to lie on the fresh grass with all the fine garden smells around me. So he could smell while lying on the ground. He could smell the smells of all these red berries or apple or the trees, leaves that is fallen on the trees. So this is how he experienced his childhood there. Or basking in the orangery. So orangery is a building, like a large conservatory where orange trees are grown. They're like um, because they in winter season it will be snow falling, so they keep a house like greenhouse effect. You have heard greenhouse. So it is orangery are houses, conservatory for orange trees. So he will go there upon the fresh grass with all the fine, or basking in the orangery, or like he will go and smell oranges inside this constructed building till I could almost fancy myself ripening too, along with the oranges and the limes in the grateful warmth. So, like the oranges gets ripening, like the limes ripen, he experienced that he was also ripening, like he was also growing, both emotionally, mentally. He was also growing. So he found it so intimate with these trees and flora and fauna of that area. So he never plucked fruits or ate them, but he enjoyed it more. He experienced the beauty and smell and color, and he found it very interesting to grow along with these fruits. It's very sweet. And or in watching the days that darted to and fro in the fresh pond at the bottom of the garden. So these and he will go there and see these days. These are small fish in water, freshwater fish, and they dart. Dart means move or run. They move along the water to and fro in the fish pond to the bottom of the garden, and in the bottom of the garden there is a fish pond where these fish used to dart, move around, and with here and there a great sulky pike hanging midway down the water in silent state, as if it mocked at their impertinent friskings. So sometimes great sulky pike. So under the water, hanging midway, in a midway down the water, there is a great sulky pike. Pike is also a huge fish. This pike eats its own children. Pikes are very dangerous. So as it is a huge fish, it looks at these daisies which are comparatively smaller to it, like oh, ഈ ചെറിയ കുട്ടികൾ എന്തിങ്ങനെ ഓടിക്കളിക്കുന്നു, like ഒരു പുച്ഛം. So hanging mid down in the water in silent state, as if it mocked at their impertinent friskiness. Friskiness, leap. Or these days, small children are playfully moving, skipping, leaping. So looking at that, this huge pike feels it is very childish, and it is mocking, like എന്താ ചെയ്യുന്നത് കുട്ടികളെ. I had more pleasure in these busy idle diversions than in all the sweet flavors of peaches, nectarines, oranges, and such like common baits for children. So he is saying that I had more pleasure, he got happiness in these busy idle. Idols are normally do nothing, but here this act of being idle has become busy. He got busy in this idle wandering, busy idle diversions, than in all the sweet flavors of speeches. He never was exaggerated or anxious to pick the or go and eat peaches, nectarines, oranges, and such like common dates for children. Normally, normal children are interested in all these things, but he was never interested to pluck fruits or eat in it. He always enjoyed the nature, enjoyed the beauty of the garden and the living things in it. So all these hobbies of children were not in his. He was little different. That is why he became a writer. So that was his experience there. We'll continue in the next class, because the next paragraph, next sentence is again big. So thank you for listening. Ask me for doubts. I'll send you the pictures of all these trees and fruits in our group. Take care. Bye.